What is happening, my people of the universe? I am D Venom, and welcome to another episode of Raising Vibrations Podcast. All right, you guys, I need to do this, and I need to do this ASAP. I wrote an email to Podbean way earlier in regard to what I am foreshadowing to you guys about. And basically what I'm talking about is the fact that I want to incorporate music into my Podbean podcast. You guys are missing out. I have been spending astronomical amounts of money alone, just simply riding around listening to instrumental Lebanese, Cairo, Egyptian, Arabic, Asian. Maybe there's some Turkish music in there. Basically what I'm speaking of is instrumental belly dance music. There's something about this music, you guys, that does it for me. And it stimulates and activates my chakras. It does a lot for my mind, body, and spirit. It does a lot for my imagination. It gives me braingasms. I'm not sure if any of you guys have ever experienced braingasms, but for me, it's these little tingles or pokes within my brain that happen at stimulating moments, and that could be good or bad. Because I remember while living in Vegas, I had those same particular tingles within my brain, but I thought that my then neighbors had a laser beam gun and was poking it at my damn brain, taking chunks of it away. Now look, I was high, so look. But anyway, it's those pokes or, jabs at the brain, so to speak, that happen during stimulating moments. And this music definitely stimulates my brain and gives it that rush that it needs in order for me to increase my own vibrations. Anyway, if this music makes me feel this good and happy and increases my vibrations, then why wouldn't I want to share this type of music with the world? And this is where I'm at, you guys. Anyway, there is a particular song on this playlist that I have, courtesy of YouTube, that's dedicated to basically this type of music that I'm talking about, instrumental belly dance music. And the song, get a paper and pencil, y'all gonna thank me later. Now, the uploader of this track is by Wednesday. Now, this bitch, excuse me, Wednesday, I did not mean to call you a bitch, because I do not want you to remove this track, because if you do, I'm gonna have to find you somewhere within this world and beat your ass. Now, look, Wednesday uploaded the track. Now, the track that's a part of my playlist it has a purplish background, and there is a cartoon character of a flamingo dancer, if I'm not mistaken, female. She has long black hair, and she has like a reddish pink or pinkish reddish or whatever, however you want to say it, outfit on or dress on. She's in a side pose, it looks like, with one arm up and one arm down, like she's about to do a full twist on your ass. And then the way the dress looks like it's about to free flow in that type of position, like she's about to do a full twist. Anyway, the name of the track, or the person that produced the track or whatever, his name is Chase or Chase. Chase. The name of the track is Gypsy Caravan. Okay. Gypsy Caravan is the name of the track. And it's the tribal edition or tribal version. Either way it goes, tribal is in the mix. So make sure you look for that word tribal. The song itself is very, very tribal. It starts off with these pipe flutes, and you would think the song is going to be stale. Now, it may be stale to some of you guys, but it's not stale to me. Anyway, this beat kicks in after the pipe flutes end, when it first begins. Like I told y'all, the pipe flutes start the song off, then the pipe flutes stop for a second. Then this doom 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 beat comes in. Then the pipe flutes come back in along with the beat. all of a sudden it's on and popping. These other set of drums come in, and it is on. It is on. And then the video, the YouTube video, are flashes of men and women, mostly women, in certain poses and certain outfits, like gypsy poses and stuff. It is an awesome ass song. Anyway, a bitch stops traffic listening to this song. I purposely pull up to cars listening to this song because I want them to hear what I am listening to. And I play cat and mouse with people listening to this song. They'll pull up next to me if I pull off real fast at a stoplight or something. And if they're listening to the song, I'll pull off real fast. And if I see them trying to catch up to me, I'll slow down and let them get another, whiff of the song. Then I'll pull up again and take off. And then keep on playing cat and mouse like that until, one of us ends up, leaving the other. But aside from that, this song is everything, you guys. And if it makes me feel good, and if it stops traffic and shit like that, then why wouldn't it stop motherfuckers in their tracks when I play this shit? Or, if I play something similar to this shit on my Podbean podcast and uplift some vibrations. That's what it's all about. So, yes, you guys. Anyway, if y'all check out that song and y'all happen to like it, let me know. Let me know if it burned fire in your ass, and not in a venereal disease type of way, but in the way that makes you want to just move all furniture off the dance floor, honey, and just tear that shit up. Let me get a drink or something. Because when I heard it, the first couple of times I thought that shit was stale. But when I listened to it in my car, which is bassy, then, or how I have it set up is kind of bassy, then that changed the game. I'm just like, oh, okay, now I get it, and it was on from there. All right, you guys. Now, y'all know it's the weekend. Happy Friday to each and every last one of you guys. Y'all know how I feel about the weekends, and I want to get this episode over and done with so that I can get home and shut my doors and hopefully get past this weekend without relapsing, considering last weekend was pretty terrible because I relapsed big time. And not all was bad during that relapse, though, because God will put people, places, and or things in front of your path while you're going through it, in order for you to reflect on your own self and your situation. And I'm glad he did this, and he had me look at my own self and my own situation by looking through two individuals during my relapse. And I'll share that with you here in a second. But yeah, you guys, it was pretty hard. I tried to fight it the best way that I possibly could in regards to the weekend. In regards to last weekend, I do apologize, but I was too weak, and I couldn't even watch an episode of Intervention. And Intervention is one of my favorite shows. And it was an episode that I tried to watch in regard to a young man that was addicted to some of every motherfucking thing. Alcohol, drugs, pills, some of everything this man was addicted to, including methamphetamine. And they showed a scene of this particular individual smoking meth, and I couldn't take it. And I stopped watching the show. And that lets me know that I'm just weak and vulnerable, and I need to strengthen some shit up, because if I can't watch an episode of Intervention without being triggered like I used to, and back in my days, especially in my Vegas days, I would watch Intervention and I would be fucked up, but I would not be triggered. But now, since I have one foot in the door in regard to sobriety and one foot out, I'm seeing things in a different light, and decide that the feet that are outside of the matrix sees things in a whole different light, and I'm feeling things in a whole different way. And yeah, I can't handle it. But the side that wants me to still be a part of the matrix and still has that one foot inside the doors, wants me to sit there and watch that, stuff in regard to people smoking methamphetamine and doing drugs, and it wants me to pick up that pipe and use because I'm being triggered. And that's the part where I know when I became strong, because I'll be able to sit there and watch an episode and cry with those individuals and laugh with them and whatever else and not be triggered. That's when I know that I have became strong in regard to my own fight with addiction and my sobriety. But yeah, I couldn't watch it, you guys. But I relapsed and been using for a little while now. And had I not relapsed and used, I would have been clean now for probably going on a good week now. But unfortunately, relapse is a part of addiction, and we're going to go through that. And we just have to know that when those things happen, in regard to relapse, we can't get down on ourselves. We can, but the thing is, we must not get down on ourselves. We must on ourselves. My bad, you guys. We must continue to love ourselves, hug ourselves, and treat ourselves as if nothing happened. Let's not forget that we possibly relapse, but let's just treat the situation like nothing happened and just keep life moving. Because if we constantly think about our relapse, it would just draw us in, and whatever else the case may be. And for a lot of people, it could be, a bit detrimental. Before I go into the situation with the two individuals that God placed in front of me as a reflective moment, I just want to go in on something else real quick. And let me just go ahead and go into the whole reflective moments. There are two individuals that I am acquainted with, and we've hung out, I'll say, 1 or 2 times before. And their drug of choice is not my drug of choice. Their drug of choice is fentanyl or Fetty, and mine is, of course, methamphetamine. And I see firsthand how fentanyl has a strong hold on half the world. And I thought methamphetamine had a strong hold on people. Fentanyl has a strong hold on folks. One individual that God placed in front of me over the past weekend had just got out of rehab for fentanyl, and they wanted me to pick them up, but by the time I got their text message or whatever, I had just woke up and whatever. So later on that day, I ended up picking them up and rode them around and basically tried to score them some fentanyl, which they ended up scoring. And I had my little bit of methamphetamine, and basically we were going to indulge in a sexual induced basically a sexually induced situation. That's what we were about to engage in. And anyway, I just remember that they kept trying to push certain energies off on me in regard to their addiction, and I had to let them know, like, hey, your addiction isn't my addiction. You're craving this shit and whatever the case may be, and you're hungry for it, and your body's aching and all of that type of stuff, and I'm sorry that you're going through that, but, you know, that's not my problem. You know, I have my own issues when I go through cravings in regard to methamphetamine and shit. So, you know, I'm definitely not trying to pick up your energies because you're feeling a particular way because, you know, at this point they didn't have their shit, you know, but don't push that energy off on me in regard to, you know, oh, I'm sick and blah, 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 and yada, yada, yada. Well, I mean, I have nothing to do with that. I'm sick as well. I may not look as if I'm sick, and I may not have the same symptoms as what you may, as what you're experiencing, but I'm still sick in a psychological way in a lot of other different ways because I'm addicted to methamphetamine. Anyway, I recall myself and this person going back to my apartment, and we've been to my apartment before. As I told you guys, I've hung out with these particular people, you know, either once or twice, you know, in my life. And I kind of knew the characteristics, you know, of what I was bringing home. My thing is, why the fuck do men need to have porn up extra motherfucking loud? It is not that damn serious. You're not going to hear nobody except this bitch screaming from the top of her motherfucking lungs, entertainment, and, you know, basically entertaining, you know, the men and women that are watching. And it does nothing for me at all. I am a Scorpio, came out to Coochie October 31st, and I have a very candid and vivid imagination. I can put the movie on pause and look at your facial expressions and your body language and tell what you are going through and feel what you are going through, considering the fact that I am very empathic and I do feel. So I can feel what you are going through and get myself off just as good as I am listening to that shit. And I just don't get it, you know, and men, maybe some women, but mostly men, will literally get pissed off at you because you are setting a boundary and don't want that shit up loud. First of all, I don't have a home. I have an apartment. And I have 3 other motherfucking neighbors. I don't need everybody in my business. I'm the type of person that I try to be a discreet drug addict. I don't need all type of motherfuckers in my shit. But this, you know, people did it. I don't know. It's just something about having the porn up extra motherfucking loud. But another thing that annoys me about people in this fentanyl and even methamphetamine, you know, y'all are so hyped up. I mean, to the point where you know, I mean, I'm dealing with scallywags, you guys. So a great majority of these scallywags, and I hate to call them scallywags, but, you know, a great majority of them don't have anything, you know, except dick to offer. You know, they don't have a house to go to. They don't have a car. They don't have anything. Most of them don't even have a fucking EBT card to buy themselves anything to eat at the end of the damn day. And more or less, what can you do for me? But at the same time, this is what I'm attracted to. But yeah, you know, they don't really have anything to offer, and some of them do have drugs to offer. But stopping, you know, when I'm driving my vehicle, you want to sit up there and have the aluminum foil show. Even if I have tinted windows or not, my windows aren't that damn tinted. But if I'm at a stoplight, don't bring out the aluminum foil and the damn straw and, you know, try to take hits and shit. You know what I mean? It's just like, damn, are you that motherfucking sick to the point where you have to do all that? Oh, I mean, I just need one hit, blah, blah, blah. I mean, but at the same time, this comes with the territory, and this is what I get myself into when I deal with, you know, people that have other addictions aside from methamphetamine addiction. And it's outrageous how because I am included, because there have been instances where I have taken my methamphetamine pipe, you know, unfortunately with me, and I would smoke out in public. And I know that that's not right because I'm, you know, doing wrong by the universe and blowing that shit in the air and whatever else the case may be, but I'm a part of it. And anyway, I remember myself and this particular person having a very, very good conversation. Because it's not always about sex or anything like that. Sometimes a person that is under the influence can have a better conversation with your motherfucking ass than the person that's not under the influence. And not everybody that is under the influence are individuals that don't know what they're talking about. A lot of these people know exactly what the fuck they're talking about, have feelings, and their feelings are to be validated. And just because they're on drugs don't mean that these people aren't human. And that's what I seen when God brought forth these particular individuals in my path. I seen the human side to these people and not just the sexual side or the drug side or whatever. I seen the human side in these people because they came from good upbringings and good homes and had good educations and things like that. The only thing that happened was the fact that they merged off the wrong path and got caught up in the drug life. And that's what happened with this particular individual that I am speaking of, that I brought back to my apartment. They got caught up in the drug world, and unfortunately, there goes their life. They are a mixed culture, and it's a part of Mexico, not Mexico, but it's a third world country where they were pretty much born. And I want to say Ibiza, but it's not Ibiza. It's something similar to that. But anyway, I guess the mom used to live there while the father resided here in Arizona. And I guess because education was so poor in that particular country, and the fact that this young man got, and very, very, very nice looking young man, nice body, nice tattoos, nice dick, nice balls. Look, I had to keep it real, you know, but yeah, nice little ass. I mean, yeah, nice looking young man, mid to late 20s, but I want to say early 20s or whatever the case may be, but nice looking young man. But anyway, after coming to Arizona to be with the father, they got caught up in the drug world. And then at that time, Craigslist was available. And, this is what I'm talking about. I'm glad we had this conversation. And it's centered around drugs and stuff, true enough. But it was very refreshing because I remember Craigslist, and I remember posting on Craigslist. And Craigslist started a lot of drug addicts. Craigslist started a lot of prostitutes. Craigslist started a lot of motherfucking shit. And Craigslist pretty much started this young man off into a lot of things, including having threesomes with couples, and that's where they pretty much and started to engage with other men. Because they were introduced to a threesome, and yeah, that's courtesy of Craigslist. But that conversation was so fucking refreshing to me, and it almost made me feel like I was in therapy. And not only were they schooling me in a lot of different things, I was also schooling them in a lot of stuff, and they seen their wrong in a lot of what they were telling me. You're sitting there basically conning your sibling out of money, and you know that they're going to give it to you. And when they basically say that they can't do it, you put them through a guilt trip. And before you know it, here they are wiring you money. And for what? For you to go off on a fatty or fentanyl chase? It's just, it's too much. Another thing is, with this particular individual, and maybe that's my fault for trying to turn someone into what I want them to be. This person is who they are, on fentanyl or not. And, they were talking a little bit too loud in my apartment. And, even with the white noise machines, they were still talking loud and moaning loud. And, I don't have a problem with that. But at the same token, if I already have nosy motherfucking neighbors, just imagine how nosy these motherfuckers are now. Anyway, there was a point where, we had a little argument about some stuff. And, I hate, because I'm a grown man, so I shouldn't be afraid to have sexual company. If I'm inviting them over for sexual, and not that that's what I was inviting them over for. Like I said, we had intellectual conversation aside from all of that. But I mean, I just have my boundaries, and a lot of those boundaries were crossed, and I guess they felt like I was, chastising them in a lot of different ways, which I was. And, if I'm going to be embarrassed about something, then I shouldn't be, doing it. And that's how I felt. I felt the tinge embarrassed by this particular individual. I shouldn't, because, drugs make people do some embarrassing things at times, including my own damn self. But overall, I am glad that I met this person, even if we don't hook up and hang out again. I'm glad that I met them, because I see the human in them, but I also see how the devil has them in regard to this fentanyl stuff. And though they are a sweet person, if they don't get it together, like me with methamphetamine, this fentanyl shit is going to wipe them out. But I'm just glad that I had that conversation with them and got to know them in a whole different light, aside from, the drug life, and aside from us having a drug-induced relationship. I got a chance to hear and see the human side to this particular person. Anyway, the other person that I am going to talk about, like the first person that I just got done talking about, I know them. Well, I don't know them, but I'm acquainted with them. And I seen them the other day, and they were walking, and they were pretty much across the street from the park that I'm sitting at right now, which is across the street from my place. And picking sores, and just looking like the epitome of a damn drugged out scallywag. Anyway, I pulled over and started talking to them, not for the sexual aspect of it all, but for the fact that I just felt sorry for them, because they just looked out there. And they got in, and we started talking, and then we went to a park, and we just sat there and talked for a second. And they were telling me what happened to them. Now, in this very park that I'm sitting at right now, this person was robbed. And this is a situation where homeless people are robbing homeless people. And the person that I'm speaking of had a bag that basically was turned upside down, everything out. I guess their drugs were taken. I guess their paraphernalia was taken, or some of their paraphernalia was taken. I guess their cell phone was taken that they just got, and a couple of other things were taken. And they alleged that they didn't fall asleep or anything, but I had to let them see things through a bigger screen TV versus the small screen TV that they were trying to see things through. And it's just like, you had to been nodded off after taking a nice hit, because you did not even hear your bag being trampled through, and you didn't hear any activity. I mean, you didn't hear anything because you were just so knocked out. And if you weren't that knocked out, you would have known that you had your methamphetamine paraphernalia on you that was showing. You had other stuff paraphernalia that was showing all on your lap and stuff. You would have put that stuff away had you, woke up, for a split second, but you didn't. You were too busy knocked out on fentanyl in order to notice any of that shit going on around you. And, they'd seen my point, and it's just like, I guess the park rangers seen this as well and kicked this person out of the park for about a good 6-7 months. And they're pissed off because they don't understand why the park rangers done this. And it's just like, these park rangers are sick and tired of you homeless people, and I hate to say you and basically label, because labels aren't made for people, they're made for jars. And I forgot who said that, but it's true. I hate to categorize anyone, but you look like the epitome of a homeless, drugged out person. And that's a bad look for the park. You know, this is a public park. Children come here. People bring their dogs here, you know, to play and stuff like that. And you got your drug addicts, you know, sitting around here with your needles and whatever else the case may be, just fucking the park up. And these park rangers are tired. So now, I'll get to that in a minute. But anyway, this person is just upset about that. And it's just like, you can't get upset because the park kicked you out. And anyway, as we're talking, the only thing that they were worried about, like the other person that I was talking about, was the fentanyl. And going back on the other person, they, and I had to tell them about themselves, kept on using the excuse, well, I was just a baby. I was only 19, blah, 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 when I was using drugs and doing my family this way. Hello, you were not a baby. You were a fucking adolescent that knew exactly what the fuck they were doing, knew exactly what choices that they were making, and whatever else. So I had to tell them about themselves, you know. Well, I mean, yeah, you were right, but I mean, I was just a kid. Come on now. I mean, the fact that you had it your way for so long in life, and the fact that you have some looks about yourself got you by. And or is getting you by. But, you know, those are just excuses. Anyway, back to the other person that I'm talking about, the person that I said, you know, I sat in the park with and had a conversation. The only thing that they could see is getting fentanyl. They could not see the fact that they were just robbed. Their only lines of communication was taken away from them, which is their cell phone that they just got. Probably some clothes and whatever else that they, you know, got up on, because you're homeless. So whatever you come up on is your prize and motherfucking possessions, because you never know when you're going to get that shit back. And the fact that he let his prize and possessions get away from him because of some damn fentanyl, it's pretty fucked up. And the fact that I'm trying to get through to you, even though I took them and dropped them off and repeated the cycle in regard to them scoring fentanyl and whatever else. And you know what? I was so over it yesterday, you guys. I tried to create content for you all addressing this very issue. And I got to a point where I had a spiritual epiphanic moment in this same parking lot that I am sitting at right now in this park. And I was bawling, and I was saying it starts right now. It starts here. And I wasn't crying for myself. I was crying more for the people and for the universe, because what people fail to realize is the universe has feelings, and the universe, you know, sheds her tears as well when she goes through some down times. And all of this drug stuff that's going on is hurting the universe. You think it's hurting the people that are utilizing the drugs. Just imagine how much this is hurting the universe. And I felt the universe's pain. I'm an empath. I feel too damn much. And I felt the pain of the universe. And I could not stop bawling on the universe's behalf. And I still have that recording, and I'm probably going to get rid of it, because the reason why I'm not uploading it is because I repeated something twice, and that's the fact that I have and I can edit it out or whatever, but I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, so I just decided to do the episode all over again. And speaking of peer support or credentials, I got a phone call from peer support today, because after I went through my bawling spell and all of that stuff, I reached out to them because I wanted to know an answer to a question that I forgot to ask when I went through the program. And that is, if peer support / star accepts people that are pro medical marijuana, because I know that a lot of organizations that are geared towards helping people with their sobriety and stuff like that don't want any form of drug activity or, drug use going on or associated with their program. And STAR, which is Stand Together and Recover, or Recovery, is pretty much like that. They don't accept any type of drug use or nothing like that, because they are a program geared towards addiction. And I get it, I understand, and that pretty much defeats that purpose. That pretty much defeats the purpose of me calling to see if I could possibly have a shot at being a peer support specialist. And basically a peer support specialist is a counselor, or a big brother, or a person that utilizes their life as a vessel, like I am now, in order to help save others. So I thought that would be another way of getting to people aside from my social media platforms, because I need to get to as many people as I possibly can, because time is running out, and this war between God and Satan will soon be ending, and we humans that are in the middle of it need to figure out what the hell we're going to do. Are we going to be Team God, or are we going to be Team Satan? And I have some figuring out that I need to do. I already know what team that I'm playing for, but I need to fully play for that team and stop the games. But anyway, I guess the whole point of me telling the stories about those two individuals is the fact that I see how I'm deep in the drug game, you guys. I mean, I'm not out there homeless and whatever like a lot of these people, but I'm deep in the game. And I see how alcohol, I grew up around alcoholics. I've seen how alcohol takes a hold of people. I've seen how methamphetamine takes a hold of people. I'm seeing how fentanyl or Fetty is taking a hold of people. And on top of that, what is going on with this fentanyl bullshit? Now, at first, it was the blue pill, blues, and it had that nasty, stinking ass odor to it. Now, the drug dealer has gotten to the point where they are grinding it up into a powder, and it's odorless. You can't smell it. And now these people are smoking this shit summer everywhere because of the fact that it's odorless. What the fuck is going on with that? So the drug dealers are just they're cutting corners every chance that they can get, and winning the drug war. So I'm not sure what's up with that, but the people that I was dealing with had fentanyl, and it was odorless, and I'm used to being around motherfuckers smoking that blue shit, and that shit just having the nastiest smell to it. Oh my god. But I just wanted to share those particular stories with you guys, because even though they were drug addicts, I seen a different side to these individuals. They weren't just, sexual prey. They are actual humans that have feelings, that go through everyday human experiences just like you and I. And the fact that I preyed upon them, is wrong. And the fact that they came from good upbringings, now disastrous, is amazing to me. One of them, was telling me how a couple of people overdosed in their life, and how I think a couple of people were, unfortunately taken out due to being murdered or killed or whatever the case may be, and they feel like they're the blame of all of that. And the more that they think about it, the more fatty or fentanyl that they do, and they're self-medicating themselves big time, and pretty much walking the streets of Arizona like a fucking zombie. And that's the shit that just really had me going yesterday while I was sitting in this parking lot, pretty much shedding tears for the world, because these are babies. And that's what got me crying, you guys, because even though they are adults, they're still babies. And the fact that Satan has taken out so many babies is what really just had me bawling yesterday, and bawling for the universe, and bawling for the people of the universe. I mean, I was truly bawling and going through it. Because something has to be done more in regard to stopping this drug epidemic. But how can you stop it when you have corrupt government officials, corrupt cops, corrupt doctors, lawyers, and politicians? I mean, you have good and you have evil in everything. And as long as evil prevails at this particular point, nothing is going to get better. Absolutely nothing. But I just wanted to share that with you guys, the fact that I relapsed. But though I relapsed, there was still some learning moments in between all of that. And I'm just glad that I had a chance to sit down and have a normal intellectual conversation, even though it was drug induced. It wasn't drug induced to the point where we couldn't sit down and converse with each other, all on separate occasions, about our drug addictions, and even though I had to let these individuals know my addiction isn't your addiction, considering they were trying to push some energies off on me and try to make me feel guilty about their addiction. I'm not going to, because I don't do fentanyl. Not that doing methamphetamine is high class compared to doing fentanyl. All drugs are pretty much bullshit, but I don't do that, and so I don't want that pushed upon me, just like I don't want to push meth upon anyone else, but I have pushed methamphetamine upon others. And it's not right, but that's the cycle of the matrix. The more people that you can keep in it, the more better it is for Satan and his allies. And I thought that peer support would have been a way for me to put the word out there even more. And it can be, as long as I stop smoking marijuana. But, this is God's medicine. And if people can't accept God's medicine, then they obviously aren't accepting God. And they're not accepting me, because I won't be a part of their organization. Just because individuals smoke marijuana does not mean that they're fuck-ups. And there's doctors, lawyers, and all types, surgeons, and all type of people that are smoking marijuana these days and are doing damn good for themselves. So please, let's not let that be the stereotype. That gets on my fucking nerves. So I could be the best damn counselor or therapist or big brother out there and still smoke marijuana. But I understand it's a contradiction, and I get that. But I think that's pretty much all that I wanted to share with you guys. I'm going to try my best to get past this. I will get past this weekend without doing any methamphetamine. Fingers crossed, you guys. And with that being said, I guess I'm going to go home. I'm having a bit of a headache, and I'm just sitting in this park looking around, and I'm a little over it, you know what I'm saying? And I don't want to waste any more gas money than what I have been. So I think it's time to mosey on home and upload this episode and go from there. All right, you guys, my people of addiction, spiritual hug. Know that everything is going to be all right, but you have to put forth the fight within your own motherfucking battle, because it's not up to everybody else around you to help you with your battle. You have to help your own damn self with your own motherfucking battle. So remember that. Anyway, and don't go get mad at folks because they're not giving you no money and all this type of shit. Bitch, it's your addiction. Support your own motherfucking addiction. You know, I mean, come on now, people of addiction. You can't be putting that energy off on other people, trying to make them feel guilty over some shit that you done got your own motherfucking self into. So quit that bullshit. You want to be an addict? Support your damn addiction. All right, you guys, I'm out. This is D Venom, and here is another episode of Raising Vibrations Podcast. My next episode will probably gear around when I used to work for the casino and why I decided to leave the motherfuckers. All right, you guys, y'all have a good one, and until my next uploads, until my next this lets you know that it's time for me to go home. Until my next upload, namaste.